Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the Arizona February Bass Fishing Report. You know, we're here in mid to late February. What I talk about here is going to carry over into early March, and then I'll give you guys another report here once we get, into March just a little bit. But what I talk about right now isn't just February. I mean, we're talking the fishing right now. Today is February 21st, I believe. We're going to talk about what's going to be happening over the next couple, 2, 3, 4 weeks. I've been personally out of town a lot, so this report is not so much based on my actual fishing over the last month, but based on my years and 20 years of fishing in Arizona in February and early March in general. And then, I'm looking at the current conditions, talking to some buddies, and what I see happening as the fish transition into the springtime mode. So that's pretty exciting. Where spring fishing is it's knocking on the door. The brutal month of January fishing is over, and it's time to catch some big fish. Pre-spawn is an awesome time of year to catch big fish. So before we go any further, just as always, this fishing report is brought to you guys by Hatch Toyota in Show Low, Arizona. Fantastic Toyota dealer, great selection, great prices, great people. If you guys are in the market for a vehicle, give those guys a shout. They also, if you're tournament fishermen, they do a program called Hatch Toyota Tournament Rewards. So similar to the Toyota Bonus Bucks that covers the national trails, if you fish the local events around here and you are a Toyota owner, you purchased a vehicle from them and you have a good tournament, they will literally pay you incentive money for being a loyal customer. So give them a shout. Also, Signature Gate Systems here in Arizona, owned by Kevin Finley. If you guys, if you need any welding work, gate work, especially if you're someone that works with a big community that has electric gates, HOA type stuff like that, and you want to keep your business in the fishing community, give Kevin a call. Again, that's Signature Gate Systems. So rolling into the report here, let's start at Roosevelt like we always do. It's slowly been coming down, and this is going to be an amazing year at Roosevelt. It's going to be probably the best year of fishing we've had in the last at least 10 years on Roosevelt. The reason I say that is we've had very little flows coming in. Now, in the long run, that's not a great thing, right? We live in Arizona. We need water. We'll take all the water we can get. That's the big Queen Lake of the whole Salt River system, and that thing needs to have water in it for the whole system and the whole valley to have water. We're still okay. It's at 69%. It's 26 feet down, but it's going to be a good spring in the short term because we don't have cold, muddy water coming in from snow melt and stuff like that. Not nearly as much as we would on over the last couple of years like we've had. So what that means, the water, there's still brush in the water, but it's not an overwhelming amount of brush. And it also means that the water is going to still be clear. So the big thing there is, it's just going to be stable, clear. The fish are going to have no problem spawning. It's going to be clear. You're going to be able to see them, and fishing is just going to be good. So that is exciting. Right now, it's still pre-spawn. If you're headed up there looking to catch a lot of fish, a jerk bait, something like this Berkeley Stunna, spinnerbait's going to be a good option. You can always slow down with a drop shot and a jig, but you're not having to go super deep. I mean, a lot of those fish right now are going to be in that 5 to 20 foot zone, staging up to spawn. And when I talk pre-spawn fishing in general, typically, the easiest way to find pre-spawn fish is to look for spawning areas. Look at the map. Get out on the lake and use your eyes and look for areas that, okay, that's likely an area that these fish are going to spawn. If I'm a bass, where am I going to sit while I wait to push up? Typically that means like the last secondary point before your spawning pocket, the last main point before your spawning flat. Our lakes, we don't have docks, but like back east, they're going to sit on the last dock before the spawning pocket. So the last object or the last piece of structure before the spawning pocket is where they'll be, the last drop off, say you got a bluff, and the bluff kind of runs into a pocket or a cove. They're going to sit right on the edge of that bluff right before it transitions to shallow. The buck bass move up first, the smaller bass move up first, and the females sit on that last staging spot until the last minute, and then boom, they push up and do their thing. So it's a great time of year to catch those big fish. If you're after big fish, believe it or not, slow crawling a swim bait like this Berkeley call shad right here. This is the original rigged model. This is the basically the new unrigged model here came out last year, and you can see I've got it on a swim bait hook right there, weedless. If you're fishing around heavy brush, that's what I'm going to go with. If you can fish it over the brush or the cover's not too thick, I like this one right here. If you're after big fish, that's a great way to go. A jig is another really good way to catch fish. They're still biting a crankbait out there supposedly, so you know, your options are opening up a little bit. It was very limited in the winter as far as what baits they wanted. They're opening up, and then again in a month from now there's going to be a lot of options on different ways to catch them. So I've had some people reach out for guided trips at Roosevelt over the next month. I've basically have my schedule in March is completely booked. I've got maybe like 1 or 2 dates in April, and then I've got a handful in May. So if anyone's looking to go fishing, whether it's Roosevelt, Saguaro, Pleasant, Bartlett, any of the local lakes, feel free to send me an email. It's all lowercase, azangler@gmail.com, azangler@gmail.com. I'll put that in the description below. But if you're looking for a guided trip, drop me a line. Like I said, I've got just a couple days left, and then if you want to just get ahead of the schedule and get on for the summer, fishing's really good in the summer, we can get you on for there too. So going on down the chain, Apache, it's another one. Without the smallmouth in there, you know, it's not the winter lake that it used to be, but as we roll into the, you know, the pre-spawn, it's a great, this lake's got a lot of big fish. If you're looking for an adventure, that's a place that's worth going. It doesn't fish exactly like Roosevelt this time of year because it doesn't have the brush, but if I were to go out there, a jerkbait would be a big part of my game plan. You know, again, it's a perfect, pre-spawn is such a good time of year to throw a jerkbait. It's always better to have a little bit of a breeze, but the water's probably going to be pretty clear over there. There hasn't been a crazy amount of runoff, so I would really suggest your natural color, stuff like that. To cover some water, I'd pick up a crankbait as well. You know, something like a Berkeley Fritz side, a shallow to a medium runner. And then if you're looking for big bites, get on those walls. Get on, like I said, the last steep stuff next to a flat or next to a pocket. Throw that jig really slow. Throw it right up against the bluff, fish it down the bluff, and I bet if you do that all day, I bet you pick yourself up a 5-pounder, and that's no exaggeration. I bet that's a pretty reasonable expectation to go out there and expect to catch a 5-pounder if you throw that jig all day long and you're patient. So hopefully you catch more than one. But anyways, for the jig, you know, a lot of times I'm going to throw a little football jig. This right here is like a little flat bottom jig, more for skipping, but I like a football jig at Apache. And then for trailers, I just wanted to show you guys these. I've been talking about them on socials a little bit, but Berkeley's got 2 new trailers. And it's not a sales pitch, I just want to show it to you guys. This is it's Max Scent. This is called the Crud Craw, and then we've got the Stank Bug. So the Crud Craw is more of a wide action bait. It's a really good trailer. You know, as this thing falls, the claws really flap, kind of like a Chigger Craw, but a little bit more action. And then the Stank Bug is a little bit more of a compact shape for their smaller jigs, like your finesse jigs, your swim jigs. And then this is a bait I'm going to Carolina rig a lot too. But again, just anytime you could be using Max Scent, especially when the water's cold and you know, you got to fish a little bit slower for those fish. I love Max Scent. I feel like it gets you more bites. They hold on to it a little bit longer. So check those out. They'll be in stores real soon. I'm also going to put a link down below where you can save 10% by using the code JBERT10 for any Berkeley or Abu Garcia stuff. So feel free to check that out. Moving further down the chain, you got Canyon and Saguaro. You're starting to see the big fish come out, especially at Saguaro. Canyon's been producing a little bit. You know, it's never fast and furious at Canyon, but I'm seeing some pictures of some bigger fish being caught there. Go there with your patience, and you might be able to catch a big one. Saguaro, you're seeing a few more fish caught in a recent Rooster Tails Bass Club tournament out there. There were actually 2 giant fish caught. There was a 13 and 11. So congrats to the guys that caught those 2 big ones. You know, if I was headed out there right now, you could still be going deep, and I'm sure there's still a good number of fish deep, but the easier fish to catch are going to be the ones that are starting to push up. So, you know, that 5 to 20 foot zone again is where I'd really be looking. Jerk baits, if you have some wind in Alabama, rig, maybe a crankbait, and then your slow stuff. Drop shot, jig. You're still not going to go out there and catch a zillion fish, but you might be able to go catch a handful, and you might catch a couple really big ones. So it's an awesome opportunity to go out there, and I mean, that lake has it's legitimately got 10, 12, 13 pounders in it, maybe bigger. And pre-spawn is maybe the best time to catch one of those true giants. It's when they're at their biggest on any of these lakes, right? They've got the belly, they've been eating, they're not burning too many calories right now. They're ready to pop. So, you know, if you catch a giant right now, it's going to weigh more than it will here in 2 months from now after it spawns. Awesome time to get out there and start fishing. Over at Bartlett, the water's still low, but the fishing's great for numbers. My buddies have been catching a lot of fish out there over the last couple of weeks. It's like, what do I got written down here? It's 53%, it's 36 feet down, so it's low, but you know, it's an easy lake to go get bites. If you're looking to just catch a bunch of fish right now, it's an awesome place to be. You definitely can try the reaction stuff. You know, there's plenty of fish still on bait, but always this time of year, if you just want to catch a lot of fish, pick up a little finesse jig, pick up a Ned rig, a drop shot, baby Carolina rig, something like that, and drag it around, and you'll catch more fish. But you know, it's probably the place to be if you're just looking to catch fish, which is nice. It's nice to have a lake like that in town where the numbers, you know, if you're taking a kid or, hey, I haven't been fishing in a month, I just want to go catch some fish, that's the place to go. Head over to Bartlett, catch some fish there. And Pleasant, kind of crazy. The water's still only 54%. It's still really low. You know, when I was fishing Pleasant a ton back in the day, that lake was super predictable as far as what the water levels would always do. And by this time of year, it had already come up a lot. So, you know, when you go to Pleasant, don't expect to go catch them off the same places that you've been fishing for the last 20 years because, hey, it's different this February. The water's still a lot lower. It's going to get there. It's going to come up. It's just taking a lot longer. But all your typical Pleasant stuff, you know, early in the morning, the reaction stuff, your little crankbaits, chatterbaits, swim baits, A-rigs, and then as that sun gets up, you may have to slow down, especially if it's a calm, sunny day. The water's so clear out there. Drop shot, finesse jig, Ned rig, stuff like that. I'm a big drop shotter on that lake. And then again, you get an opportunity for some reaction later in the day. You know, as that sun starts to come down a little bit, the water's warmed up in all those coves, the shad get to move, and you can really catch them on reaction at that point. So, you know, early and late reaction, middle of the day slow down if you're going to Pleasant. Like I talked about earlier, I guide on all these lakes in between the event. So if you're looking to get out, whether you're trying to learn a new technique, your electronics, learn a new lake, or just go catch some fish, drop me a line and we'll try to get you on the books. I'd love to fish with you. And as always, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so. And we'll chat with you guys really soon. Thanks.